Happy Wednesday, IBC family. Welcome to Midweek Devotion. So today I had a little short moment in my devotion that stood out to me that I just wanted to share today and for this week. Last week I talked all about the desire to seek God and really truly craving Him and wanting to be close to Him like John was close to Him, and not just one of the 12 or one of the 70, but to be that one and to have that pull and that drive. And that's something that I'm still working on even this week. I'm just working on carving out that time and what does it mean to me and how can I do that in the life that I'm leading and the schedules that I have. And I'm still working on that, drawing close to God. And the reason why this is so important and why it's important to do that. And so one story this week that jumped out at me regarding all that is in Judges chapter 6. Which is all about Gideon. So I'm going to share that today. So just a little background story. So there is an army that is basically terrorizing people up to this point. So let's dive into Judges 6, verse 11. Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the oak tree which belonged to Joash, and his son Gideon was beating wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. That's the army that's been terrorizing people. Verse 12, it says, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, mighty man of valor, fearless courage. Now listen to Gideon's response. And Gideon said to him, oh, sir, if the Lord is with us, why has all of this befallen us? And for a split second in my time with God this morning, the minute I read that, I thought, 2020, why has it befallen us, right? It's just something that popped into my head. And Gideon goes on to say, and where are all his wondrous works of which our fathers told us, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? And now the Lord has forsaken us and given us into the hand of Midian. So I want to stop right there and point out this statement that he just made. This statement isn't a reality. This is his feeling. That is how he was feeling. It's not his reality. So he said, the Lord has forsaken us. But didn't the verse just prior say, the Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor? He just got done saying the Lord was with him. But Gideon wasn't seeing that reality. He was seeing the reality that his emotions were evoking and creating in front of him. The angel of the Lord just got done telling Gideon the Lord is with him. And Gideon goes, why has the Lord forsaken us? He is stating a feeling, not a fact. And it may feel sometimes like the Lord has forsaken you, sometimes in your circumstances, but He is right there with you saying, I am with you. Doesn't matter how we feel. What matters is what is truth. And the truth is God didn't leave Gideon and He didn't leave us. He's here with us in every moment of our lives. In verse 14, the Lord turned to him and said, go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you? So God ignores his statement of emotion and says, go, do what I have called you to do despite what you are feeling. That's essentially what he's telling Gideon. Gideon just gave him this whole long thing about how he basically feels and what he's seeing in his reality. And God pretty much is saying, do what I have called you to do despite how you're feeling, despite what it looks like in your present. Verse 15, Gideon responds, O Lord, how can I deliver Israel? Behold, my clan is the poorest in all Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. So basically, his response to God, telling him to go and do what he's called him to do despite how he is feeling, Gideon responds with, but look at my life. And I know from experience, sometimes that's our response to God. We hear the word, we hear God talking to us, we read it in his Bible, we see his promises, but we go, but look at my life. Look at where I'm at. I'm divorced. I have no job. My children are this. I am this. My body is this. And we say, but look at our lives, right? And essentially that's what Gideon is saying to God. He's saying, but look at my life. He's like, look at what I am. He's like, we're the poorest clan. I'm the least in my father's house. Sometimes, especially this year, we feel that God nudge of, hey, stay on course, or focus, keep the faith. You are mighty. I am with you. Do what you're supposed to do. But we have that response of, look at my life. Look at what has happened, where I'm at. And we focus on our present instead of digging into the faith of our future, right? That's looking down at our present. So here's what is so super cool about Gideon's story, and what I love about how God, again, ignored what he was saying and continued on with what he wanted Gideon to do. If you continue on in Judges, you find out through different steps, Gideon ended up defeating the Midianite army. And this army was it had more than 135,000 men. And Gideon defeated them. He defeated an army of more than 135,000 men with only 300 men. Not only that, they did it with tools that were not common or meant for war. In verse 16 of chapter 7, it says, "And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put into their hands of all of them trumpets and empty pitchers, with torches inside the pitchers." And in verse 20, God makes it a point of letting us know that they didn't have the right tools, but that didn't matter to God. Because in verse 20 it says, "Holding the torches in their left hands, and in their right hands the trumpets to blow, leaving no chance to use a sword." It doesn't matter if you have the right tools to fight your battle, because God fights your battles, not you. And that was the whole point of Gideon's story. Gideon's story shows that no matter what we have or don't have, God can make up the difference. God makes up the difference when we place our trust in him. Doesn't matter what 2020 has brought. It doesn't matter what your life looks like now or what state you're in, because God can make up the difference when we place our trust in him. Gideon defeated an entire army with only 300 men and a few items. He defeated an entire army of more than 135,000 men. One of God's names is Jehovah Nissi, meaning the Lord our banner, which means victory. Like Gideon, we may be facing a step that seems impossible, or our life circumstances seem too daunting or too big to handle. And this just means you're in the perfect position for a miracle. Jehovah Nissi, the Lord our banner, means he's with you, and he will always overcome. He is always victorious. He never loses a battle. When we lean into his strength and ability, then we can do the great things he has called us to do, despite our circumstances or the tools we possess to accomplish them. Because sometimes it's not our circumstances. Sometimes you're like, well, I don't have the tools to do what you're asking me to do. But Gideon is a perfect example of it didn't matter about his circumstance, and it didn't matter the tools that he had. God made up the difference. This is why we need to dive into him and seek him first, prioritizing our time with him. Hebrews 11:6 says, God rewards those who diligently seek him. Putting God first, and I love this, Joyce Meyer puts it this way, putting God first means working your schedule around him rather than trying to work him into your schedule. There's a difference. It's a different mindset of how you view it. So I'm going to just say that one more time. Putting God first means working your schedule around God and your time with him, rather than trying to fit him into your schedule. That's a different way of viewing your time with God. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who are labor and are heavy laden and overburdened, and I will cause you to rest. I will ease and relieve and refresh your soul." But first, what do we have to do first in that verse? Come to him. So I encourage you this week, despite your circumstances, despite the tools that you have at your disposal, God is standing there repeating over and over, I am with you. But it again is up to us to diligently seek him and put him first. Have a fantastic week. Bye.